morning, it's Sunday 29th of January 2017. This is Sylvia Shivamurthy and you're listening to the newspaper reviews on www.athavan.com. Let's now look at the paper highlights from today's newspapers. The top highlight in Sunday Times says, Horana Tire Factory, land clearing suspended on President's orders. The clearing of land in Horana for the setting up of a businessman Nandana Lokuvithana's tire factory was suspended by the Board of Investment this week. Security officers were sent to the 100-acre site in Vigawatha on President Maithripala Sirisena's instructions after he learned the tycoon was levelling the earth before signing the lease with the BOI. The activity had started despite President Sirisena sending a note via the Prime Minister's office to the Cabinet Committee on Economic Management flagging concerns regarding the project. Among other things, the note warned about the loss of the BOI in leasing out 100 acres to Mr. Lokuvithana's Rigid Tyre Corporation Private Limited at a fraction of the investments agency floor price for a land. It also observed that the other investors had been granted land at high prices and underscored the importance of level playing field. Another highlight says, Central Expressway, top Japanese team here to push through tender. A large Japanese delegation headed by an advisor to the Japanese Prime Minister was in Sri Lanka this week to push through a tender for a third section of the Central Expressway. The visit came amidst reports that Fujita Corporation, the Japanese construction company which offered a lower bid to build the road, has been struck down by a tender evaluation committee on grounds that it was unqualified to implement such a massive project. Only one bid offered by another Japanese company, Taisei Corporation, is being studied. Taisei's price is 159 billion rupees, while Fujita quoted lower at 147 billion rupees. The highlight in the middle says, coal purchasers under heavy fire by AG. The Auditor General has recommended that a formal and practical annual procurement plan be put in place to avoid malpractices in coal purchases by the government. This comes after an audit probe found estimated losses amounting to more than 4,145.43 million rupees due to irregularities in coal purchases between 2009 and 2016. And the highlight at the bottom says, dispute over computers hinders tax collection. Inland Revenue Department trade unions have raised the issue of confidential information leaking to outsiders because of a Finance Ministry proposal that computers required by the department should be leased instead of making outright purchases. The trade unions have rejected the proposal to lease out computers, claiming that if maintenance of the new computers is carried out by a different company, it would be difficult to keep the information confidential. Let's now move to the paper highlights in Sunday Observer. The top highlight says, over 470 bills held up. Around 477 bills to be presented in Parliament are stagnating mostly between the Attorney General's Department and the Legal Draftman's Department over the past 10 years, Mega Police and Western Development Minister Champika Ranawaka told in The Observer. Considering this situation, the Cabinet has directed the Justice Ministry to expedite the process of sorting out those bills depending on the priority of those bills. The highlight in the middle says, fresh tenders for rail coaches. After the rejection of the initial tenders for the procurement of 170 coaches for the Railway Department due to the shortlisted company's inability to satisfy tender requirements, the Cabinet has granted approval to call fresh tenders to purchase coaches for the Railways Department, Secretary to the Transport Ministry Nihal Somavira said. And the highlight at the bottom says, Special Tribunal to investigate corruption. Red drafted bill soon in Parliament. A bill to establish a special tribunal to investigate corruption will soon be presented in Parliament after red drafting and incorporating the suggestions made by the Attorney General considering its constitutionality, Mega Police and Western Region Development Minister Champika Ranawaka told the Sunday Observer. Let's now look at the paper highlights in Ceylon today. The top highlight says, tracing rip-offs during former regime unlikely, says FCID. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division said it has made no substantial breakthrough in any of the 200-plus high-profile overseas financial corruption cases they had filed in court within the last 2 years. An FCID official told Ceylon today that they have written to nearly 70 countries including Ukraine, USA, India, Pakistan, Singapore, Hong Kong, China, UAE, Australia, New Zealand, Mauritius, the Caribbean islands including Jamaica and Panama, to name a few, but only 10 countries even acknowledged the letters which asked them to furnish details of the individuals who have believed to have stashed ill-gotten money to their countries. Another highlight says, Auditor General not answerable to a minister. Auditor General Gamini Vijay Singha says that Auditor General is the basic principle and major pillar of good governance. I don't know why the Finance Minister is accusing me because I gave him the required report. The highlight in the middle says, Audit Bill diluted, key clauses removed. The audit bill, which was initially intended to be a very strong bill, had been diluted with the removal of key clauses from the original draft, Ceylon today learns. The National Audit Bill is one of the major promises of the good governance government. Another highlight says, UNP cannot manage country properly. Minister of Science and Technology Susil Prema Jayanta questions how many of the targets set by the budget presented in 2016 have been achieved so far. And the highlight at the bottom says, who is helping Lokuvithana? On 5th January 2017, the foundation stone for what was then said to be the largest tyre manufacturing company in the country was laid under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. That's all for today's newspaper highlights, and we'll get back to you with more news tomorrow. Thank you.